Hi, my friends. This is Dozie Izewe. Today, let's talk about the international regime on war crimes and crimes against humanity. Let's um, let's see whether it's been successful, whether it has achieved the desired goals, and if there's a way it can be implemented to achieve further purposes. Um, many it has not been popular with many African leaders. They've said that they've said that it's been implemented with bias. Only African leaders have been tried or taken to book using the regime. But although that's not very true, because I remember Milosevic of Serbia was arrested under the same regime. So it's not really popular among African leaders, and for obvious reasons. It puts them in danger of jail if they commit vicious crimes against their citizens and against citizens of other countries. People like Charles Taylor have been taken to book under the regime. People like Laurent Gbagbo and his wife of Ivory Coast. I think it's been very useful. I think it's deterred African leaders and maybe other leaders from other parts of the world from implementing their vicious intentions on their populations. For one, recently I was watching Laurent Kabila of the DRC while he was during the tussle on whether he will continue power or give up power. Very recently, this 2018 and I think 2019 also, I watched and saw that he was being very cautious. Like if a military officer or a police officer did something, committed a crime, he will ensure that that person is punished. So that I'm sure he was considering the day he will leave power, because if he didn't, that laxity and that negligence could be brought on him after he had left power. So I think the regime has been very useful for vulnerable populations. I think it's been very, very useful. So one other thing. But now, so if it's been so useful, what other way could it be used to advance the lot of populations around the world? I'm thinking of, if you consider the severe economic crimes some African leaders and some leaders possibly outside Africa commit. The crimes they commit have a toll in lives of people. If a leader steals $300 million, do people die because of it, or don't people die because of it? People surely die because of it. In a place like in a developed country, in a developing country, people die because of it, from lack of vaccines for babies, for lack of food, for poor roads that hazard and cause accidents and deaths. I think if studies can be done, it can be proved and even calibrated how many lives are lost per $100,000 or $100 million or $100 million stolen. I think it can be that relation can be so linear. $1 million could cost maybe 5 lives in a poor country. $10 million could cost 50 lives, just like that. It could even be plotted on a graph. I think this is the large scale looting, the large scale corruption in a country like Nigeria and some other African countries takes tolls in lives, which warrant that people which equate to like crimes against humanity and crimes against and almost like war crimes. So if we punish leaders who kill people with guns, we ought to punish leaders who kill people by stealing the resources that are supposed to save their lives. I'm thinking that there ought to be a regime against large-scale economic crimes against humanity. In a country like Nigeria, a governor can, I suspect that the governor, from events that happened in the past, that a governor of one state of Nigeria steals about $200 million. $200 million in the 4 years of his tenure. $200 million, one governor. I can imagine how much that costs in the lives of the people of the state, in terms of poorly maintained hospitals, poorly maintained roads, bad schools. So you can imagine that. So there ought to be a way of deterring such evil activities of these people. So if the international community needs to devise a way of deterring such heavy crimes, I'm sure they can look around their cities and see the scale of these crimes in terms of laundered money in buildings that these political criminals buy in their countries, in London, in Dubai, in Paris, and other places. They can see for themselves the scale of the damage they do to their populations when they commit these crimes. So we ought to devise a way of punishing such crimes which take lives. I believe they take lives. We ought to devise a way of deterring such crimes. So that's the first part. That's one part of what I want to say today. The second part of what I want to say is we need to do this not just for the sake of Africans or people in developing countries. We need to do this for the sake of humanity. A country like Nigeria has the potential of driving human progress significantly for the next 100 years. It has the resources, it has the people to do that. Just the mere efforts of Nigerian individuals currently, you can see, is making a contribution to the culture of the world in terms of music, comedy, and film. So if the Nigerians are the problem, they hold the population, they hold the people down because they don't govern them well. They don't stimulate growth. They don't stimulate progress for the people. They rob the people. Politics in Nigeria is like a business. You go in there to come rich, not to help people. So if we could, if this what I just talked about, deterring these crimes by devising a scheme which makes these crimes against humanity, a country like Nigeria could grow very rapidly and do what China is doing today, spur growth around the world, spur human progress around the world. Countries from time to time play this role, and it's very important to human progress. Japan did it in the 80s. The United States have been doing this did it in the last century. The UK played a big role in the 19th century. France did it before the UK. You see, it has been a chain of that. We often have one country driving progress in the human race. So Nigeria, I guess Nigeria ought to be the next country to do that. But if the leadership of the country continues to go as it is, Nigeria, a country of almost 200 million people, is going to fail humanity. It's not going to do what it ought to do. The country is right on the verge of massive progress, massive growth. Everything is ripe and steady. Just the leadership that's holding things back. So the world ought to take action. There's much interest in whatever goes on in Nigeria. There's much interest, there's much effort to help Nigeria succeed. The EU does that, the United States does that, the UK does that. Many countries, many organizations and countries internationally try to help Nigeria to succeed. This one step I just talked about needs to be done to stop the economic flight from the country and help the country progress and stabilize. and play a role to boost growth around the world. What China has done in the last decade or two, Nigeria should take the baton and do likewise. Without what I just suggested, Nigeria may fail to do that and still continue to wallow in corruption. So this is what I want to talk about today. My name is Dozie Ziwe. I hope you like the video and subscribe and comment and if you have anything against what I said, you should comment, or you should not feel to say so in the comment section. If you support what I said, you should also let me know. Thank you very much.